Om Shri Sai Ram. Our most humble and loving salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Master, Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. It's my privilege, pleasure, and great honor to host this afternoon's session with my fellow brothers. And we are happy to bring you stories and nostalgic journey of Bhagwan through our lives. Today happens to be a very emotional and a very special day. Special and emotional because this is the time when the Lord decided to leave his physical form, a form which we were very attached to, we are very dear to, and he chose to engulf us with his cosmic energy. He moved us, he forced us to move actually from waiting to see him in Puttaparthi, craving for an acknowledgement, to a state wherein we are able to experience and enjoy him throughout our life, every moment of our life. This special day of Avatar, wherein we have whatever we have cherished, we have enjoyed his physical proximity, we bring him to our lives, we celebrate it as our gratitude, as an humble offering. We call it Aradhana Day, Aradhana Mahotsavam, a day of gratitude, a day of celebration, day of remembering that great personification of love. And today I'm really blessed to have a few of my brothers from the fraternity who will take us through this nostalgic journey together. And I hope and pray that Bhagwan blesses us with his thoughts, with his blessings, so that we can enjoy and make it a fulfilling experience for every one of us who's here participating with us. So, to start with, let me invite all my brothers in and request them to start with a small prayer. Sai Ram brothers, welcome.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram. त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा त्वमेव सर्वं मम श्री साई
I'm not able to hear. I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Saidam.
Yeah, now I'm hearing. Saidam.
Yes, yes. Sorry about that. I'm taking this pleasure to introduce our guest speakers and our guest brothers. So first, I have the pleasure of introducing Brother Rupak Sharma. He hails from
Saidam.
Guwahati, Assam, and he's by profession a businessman and a singer. He came to Bhagwan in 1976. Of course, his journey in a Sai family was easy as he joined Balvikas and he did till the 10th grade. Presently, he's actively participant as an alumni in Assam, and he's also a very good singer and has been blessed with wonderful experiences in the music arena with Bhagwan. Few words from you, brother Rupak.
Saidam. On this beautiful occasion, I wish everybody that Swami blesses all of you. And I think there are so many things to talk of in the coming 1 or 2 hours. So I'll be giving you all whatever experiences which I had during my stay in Vrindavan. So over to you.
Rupak, you can also share with us your little life about before you came to Swami as college student.
Okay. Before, when I was very young, my mother took me to, we were in Shillong, in Assam, northeast part of India. And my mother used to take me to one mandir It's called Sidli Rani Mandir. So one day my mother bought a photo of Swami and kept it on the shrine. And she told my father that this is the avatar of Shirdi Sai Baba. So we will pray him also. So my father was not that much, he never wanted that Swami's photo should be on the shrine. But he didn't say anything. And one evening when my mother lit the earthen lamp and prayed in front of the shrine, she actually saw a lot of golden drops, and it was Amrit. And she was excited, and she called all myself, my sisters, and my father also, who was there, and showed the thing, Amrit. My father didn't say anything, but in the later days to come, my father used to accompany my mother to the mandir, and later on, my father got attracted by hearing Swami's bhajans, his literatures, the disciplines that is maintained by the organization in Shillong. It was a very small mandir, and in the last, before his death also, he was always in Swami's organization. He was mostly working for publications, Swami Sanatan Sarathi, and till the last moment he was singing bhajans. He used to participate in Swami's bhajans also, and later on, during when I was a child, he was a main singer in Guwahati Samiti. That
So
is
you
my
had
early
any
part.
So you had a formal education in music or not?
No, I don't. I never had any formal education.
Okay.
Just
Thank you,
it's all
Brother
God
Rupak.
given. Swami gave.
Sure,
Thank
we'll
you so
hear
much,
more
Sairam.
stories as we come forward. So next we have Brother Lakshmi Narayan Kote.
Sairam.
Sairam. Brother Kote comes from a very small village, which he says even now it is a small village, called Chakodi near Mangalore, Karnataka. He is an agriculturist. Presently, he is a chairman to the Sri Sathya Sai Seva Trust Chakodi, and he runs a very beautiful charitable school with 500 children, which caters up to grade 10th. So, Brother Kote, few words from you and your early days before coming to Bhagwan.
Sairam to all the brothers and sisters of Sai family. It is a beautiful occasion that Abhinav has given us to be interacted with all of you. I came to Swami at the age of 4. That was in 1962. As a kid, I was attracted to Swami. My father was kind enough to take me every time whenever he used to go to Puttaparthi, and the number used to be then hardly 100. So every morning we used to make it a point to sit in front of the interview room, and whoever sits in the front used to get interviews, and Swami used to create photos, and even today we have those photos in the altar in our house. Later in 1967, Swami performed my thread ceremony, and regularly we used to come to Parthi. When the Purnachandra Auditorium was constructed, the devotees of Chokadi, numbering around 25, we were there for 1 month, and Swami had given the chance of doing the service of getting sand from Chitravati river to the Purnachandra Auditorium. In the whole of Purnachandra Auditorium, you must have seen how big it is. It was filled by sand by the devotees of Chokadi, and Swami used to come quite often, say 3 to 4 times in a day to the Purnachandra Auditorium, that place, and he would give sweets, or he'll talk to the devotees lovingly, and he used to call me separately to the side, and he used to give me the fruits, and I was attracted more and more, not realizing that uh, he is God, because I was too small a child to understand what is God.
You're talking about year 1967, 68?
Yeah.
Okay.
And really, I thank my parents to taking me to Bhagwan, and of course, it is all because of His grace that I am the part of Sai family. I am ever grateful to him.
Your voice is still as fresh as ever. Just a quick same question to you too. Did you have any formal musical training before you came to Perth?
Nil. I really don't know
Excellent.
the ABCD of music, and because of
Okay.
Swami, that if at all I am considered as a singer, it is because of Swami.
Thank you, brother. And we'll hear more from you as we go forward. Thank you very much. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Brother Ravi Teja. He's popularly known as a flutist, and you might have all seen him playing flute everywhere. He came to Bhagwan again as a student in 1985, and his introduction was through a family. Presently, he works as handling HR and administration in Sathya Sadhana Trust, Bhakt Sakhya division. Ravi, please share with us a little bit about your journey and your early days before coming to Bhagwan as a student.
Sure. Sairam, brother. Sairam, thank you, Abhimanyu. First of all, pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan on this very auspicious day. And my family first came to Swami. Rather, Swami took our family close to sometime in 1960s, when one of my paternal uncles actually brought us to Prashant Nilayam initially, and then subsequently we were pretty active in Hyderabad. And my elder brothers, they were all very active. And then even as I was a child, I was introduced to Swami as God. So for me, it was like a smooth, easy journey. Just to accept him. He was always there in the altar. Accept him as God was very easy for me. No questions. And then, fortunately for me, Swami took me as a student in '85, and then subsequently, I've been a student and learned a lot of things at his lotus feet. It's been a continuous learning journey for me all along. Thanks to Bhagwan's grace, immense grace, and today I'm fortunately I'm here because of his grace again. To be serving at his lotus feet in Prashant Nilayam in Bhakti Sahayak Division, Sadhana Trust. Thank you.
Ravi, for you too, you play flute. What was your formal training in flute playing?
Like Brother Kote said, I did not really have any formal training, but for constant guidance and encouragement and enthusiasm, of course, Swami's blessings continuously all along, and blessings of my parents. My mother was a classical singer, but then constant guidance and encouragement from my elder brothers like Sunam, Shailesh, Krishnamurti Gopinath, Kote sir, Hirok sir, all of them. I've literally grown up with them, admiring them, listening to their wonderful singing. And, that's how I kind of picked up, thanks to all of them, of course, Bhagwan.
Thank you, Ravi. And we'll hear more from you too as we go forward in this journey of Bhagwan's life. So thank you very much for now.
Yeah.
So next I have Brother Ruchir Desai. Brother Ruchir, you can unmute your mic. Brother Ruchir came as a student in 1980. Sairam Ruchir. He joined in 1981 in Vrindavan campus and did his BCom. Then he did his master's, and presently he's associate professor, Department of Management and Commerce, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Vrindavan campus. So, Brother Ruchir, Sairam and welcome. Please share a few bits about your journey with Bhagwan before you came as a student.
Before I became a student, I grew up in a family of Sai devotees, in the sense my parents were not devotees when I was born, but at a very young age they got exposed to Swami, and therefore through most of my school journey, Swami had entered our family. Swami was at the slowly taking the center stage in our lives, and therefore as I finished my schooling, it was but natural for me to aspire to come and join Swami's college. We had seen Swami's college in Vrindavan. At that time, the institute was not yet born, but I naturally aspired to join the college and therefore sought admission here, came here, and then the rest is history, as they say. I stayed on.
You have been a very silent worker all through, but we know how important role you play in developing the future children. So thank you very much for being here and sharing a few moments with Bhagwan. So we'll continue to hear from you more. Thank you, Bhaiya. And next, let me introduce you, Brother Sonam Yamso Tenzin.
Sairam.
Sairam Bhaiya. Brother Sonam hails from Sikkim, and he also came to Bhagwan very early, but as a student in 1978. Let me tell the audience, especially the people who are not from India, in those years, the courses used to call PUC. It was a pre-university course. It was like a senior high for international students. So after 10th grade, you go into PUC, something like that. So they used to come to Vrindavan and they came to do PUC. And then he did his graduation and post-graduation and went on to do his PhD by 1990. And he has, of course, 3 generations of devotees. So, Brother Sonam, few words from you.
Yeah, Sairam. It's a great privilege to be here sharing this platform with people whom, when I look at you, I feel that I'm looking at history. And it's so nostalgic, and I'm finding it so difficult to contain my emotions just now. And on a day like this, when the avatar chose to make us feel his universality, that he is now not only in this physical form, but now we should understand that he is everywhere, inside out. I can only tell you that I was the most improbable candidate to be a Sai student. Coming from a very orthodox Buddhist family, and that too with half-baked ideas about the Buddha. And then into this family, Bhagwan introduced himself to us. And the way he did that was when my mother went to one of our friends' house, straight from the school. She was a school teacher. And she found that so much vibhuti was emanating from a picture of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. She was told that he is Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And the moment she looked at the picture, she fell in love. She said that, yes, he is God. And then she came home with a book, carrying a book with her. It was a compilation of Sai Bhajans by devotees from Darjeeling. And that particular book had a picture of Bhagwan on the cover. And the picture was a very smudged picture. It was not even a clear picture. When I got my share of chance to look at the picture, I again fell in love with Bhagwan straight away. Then there was no looking back. I was looking for, trying to find a picture of Bhagwan in the market. And Avi, you have come to Sikkim, you know that Lal Market Road, steep downhill. At last, in one of the shops, we found a picture of Swami. We got it framed, brought it home. We were all flushed and excited and put it up on the altar. And a few days after that, there were a group of specialists from Darjeeling who came to do a bhajan workshop, a bhajan training program. I spent a whole day with them on a Sunday and learned some 6 to 7 bhajans from them. We were all gifted in the family because of our thanks to our father and mother. We were all into music. My mother was into Ravindra Sangeet, father was into Western classical music. So there was a type of enchantment in music. So when I went to the local temple where bhajans were being taught, I was so much engrossed in the bhajans that in a day I learned some 6, 7 bhajans. The tunes were beautiful. And then having learned the bhajans at home now, we wanted to introduce the bhajans at home. And we looked for the next Thursday. We all gathered together in the bhajan, in the prayer room. And then we started the bhajan. I started a Ganesh bhajan, a very old Ganesh bhajan, which is as new as it was at that time, even today.
Which was that?
And then as my sister started the second bhajan, Manasa Bhajari Guru Charanam. And we were, mind you, all of us, we were not singing the bhajan aloud. We were singing the bhajan, we were whispering the bhajan, because there was so much orthodoxy going on in our community. And then we were afraid that someone might go and tell others that these people have turned into Hindus. So we just chanted, we sang the bhajans in whispers. And the moment my sister started the Manas Bhajari, she started, Amrit formed on Swami's face inside the frame. And then it broke down into 2 streams, started streaming down Swami's face. And then we could see Vibhuti forming on the frame of the picture. There's not only that picture, but Vibhuti was forming everywhere there on the altar. And then there was no looking back after that. This is how, not me introducing myself to Bhagwan, but God comes to you. That is the beauty of the avatar. Avatar is God coming and introducing himself to humanity. So this is how
you have been privileged to become a composer of hundreds of bhajans. Did you have any formal training in music?
My training was like this. Music was flowing in at home. I can't say whether that was training, but then I inherited it from them. And then the real training happened when I joined Swami.
Certainly.
In Vrindavan.
So we'll hear more from you as we move forward. So thank you very
Saga.
much, brother, for the introduction. So now I have, last but not the least, Brother Hirok Changkakoti. Brother Hirok comes from a very blessed and a privileged family. He also joined Bhagwan's institution in PUC, the pre-university, in 1977, and then went on to do his degree in Vrindavan, and then he finished his PhD in 1989. Then he also worked as a teacher till 92 before moving on to Bangalore, where he resides today and works for Oracle Corporation, So, Brother Hirok, welcome. Sairam,
Sai
few
Ram.
words from
Sai
you,
Ram.
and give
Yeah.
us a little bit about
Uh,
your time before coming to Puttaparthi.
yes, sir. See, actually, I at the time when we first got introduced to Swami was in a place known as Shillong, which is thousands of miles away from Puttaparthi. Puttaparthi, as it is, was at that time. At that time, was a very small temple, town, and we were thousands of miles away from there. But then, as Brother Sonam just now said, Swami wanted us to come into his fold, and that's why he introduced himself to us in that far off place. How we came into to Swami was, of course, before I proceed further on how I got introduced to Swami, I just wanted to say one thing. It is absolutely a privilege and what do you call, a blessing of a few thousands of lives that we are all in, that we were witness to the avatarhood and could enjoy the love, compassion, and total selfless love that he gave to all of us. The word mother is not adequate to describe the love that flowed from Swami to his students or to all his devotees. Okay, so with that introduction, and all of us are actually nothing but for his grace. We were able to sing, or we were able to do be in his company only because of his grace. So having said that, how did Swami introduce himself? How did he come into our lives? This was in the year 1966 or 67, when one of our friends suddenly said that, see, we are having a bhajan, and please come. So unfortunately for us, that day we couldn't go and be in time for the bhajan, but we saw the last part of the bhajan, and we saw the temple that they had made, where Swami's photograph was there. And then the first thing that happened was my mother literally fell in love with that form which was there in that form. That form was of Swami. So she got a photograph. Our friends were generous enough to give a photograph of Swami, and then we came and took that photograph and then put it in our temple. And then we started singing bhajans. With whatever little bhajans that we knew, we started singing bhajans. And then that's when Swami just walked into our lives. He started manifesting himself in the form of vibhuti, or amrit, in various photographs. And those photographs were not of Swami alone. Those photographs were of Durga Devi, or even, say, Lakshmi. All those photographs, Vibhuti used to manifest itself. And there were times when we were singing bhajans, we could hear Swami walking into the bhajan into the room where we were singing the bhajans. And we were staying in a house which had wooden floors, because that Shillong was a very cold place. So people used to generally have a wooden floor. So you could hear the footsteps on those wooden floors. And then there were times when after bhajans that were conducted in our houses, Swami will suddenly manifest himself. He just walks out of a photograph and then gave a darshan to my elder brother. And you could imagine the amount of fright that he created. But then later on, he just walked out of that photograph. And that's how it started. And then we got introduced to Swami and got more and more involved in activities of Swami. And I had the privilege of, after the 75th birthday, Swami sent a letter to my father asking us all to come to Puttaparthi. So we came to Puttaparthi.
And that's how your journey started.
It is a journey of 4 days.
Yeah. And that we'll pick it up as we move forward, and we'll listen to that also. So I know,
Sure,
brother, you
sure.
all brothers were privileged to be a good singers. Did you have any formal training, or you are also like others?
Like others. Only Swami taught all of us. In fact, Swami was the person who used to even tell us how to pronounce words, how to sing. And then you used to always say that, see, listen, when you sing, I mean, this is something which all of us have got have had lessons from Swami. Swami used to sing that always sing for your satisfaction. Once you are satisfied, all the people who hear you will be satisfied. And to be able to sing His glory is something which is actually a great blessing, because through your singing, if you're able to turn people Godward, I mean, what greater privilege can be there?
Certainly.
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother Hirok. As we continue, we will hear more of you and about your stories. So, dear audience, let me tell you a little bit about how Vrindavan campus came about. The beauty of Bhagwan's life was that he does things in a very, very systematic and a very organic manner. There is no miraculous things happening that he just, wake up in the morning and he rotated his hand and campus came about. Today we feel it is worth to look at Bhagwan's life and to understand how Avatar has taken pain in building this beautiful edifice of infrastructure and educational empire. Fortunately for us, this Avatar chose education to be his tool, education to be his medium of transformation that he came for. It seems it happened that Bhagwan had bought a land, a piece of property in Whitefield area, where present hospital is there, small hospital, the general hospital in Whitefield. Around there, it was called Nandi Hills. And at the same time, there was a devotee, Mr. Sheshagiri Rao. He came to Bhagwan and he said, Bhagwan, I have a property, and he wanted to offer it. And he was like chasing Swami and requesting him to accept that property from him. Bhagwan had already bought Nandanvan, but on his insistence, he came to see this property. And he said, okay, I accept your offering on a condition that you will take that one. So it was kind of an exchange he did. And he accepted this present property, which was close to the Vrindavan railway station. And that is how this ashram got a name of Whitefield station. So it was called Whitefield Ashram. This ashram, I'm just trying to sketch a picture for all of you. It was like a garden filled with trees. As you enter the main entrance, it had a small a room for watchmen, people who guard. There was a shed for them to stay. Next to the shed, it seems, was a car garage, and it was a makeshift shed which could accommodate up to 3 cars. And then there was a house where Sri Kaka Sahib Dikshit stayed originally. And then facing towards that was a pond. Probably it was a pool in the olden days. It was a big pond where you see present hostel. So hopefully we'll get to hear the story of that also. So in place of hostel, there was a big pond, and then was the bungalow, what later on was called as Mandir, and then it became Trei Vrindavan. That bungalow has his own beautiful stories, good memories, because Bhagwan used to spend most of his year in Vrindavan when he used to work on that side. So that's how Vrindavan was. In between the pond and the mandir, next to the mandir, Swami made the first shed. and that shed was actually the first college. So as we move forward, we'll listen to these stories. And in 1969, he identified that place and he said, that will be the college. And can you imagine this big thing? Bhagwan started with such a humble beginning. When the students arrived, it seems, in 1969, there was nothing. They didn't even have a place to stay. Then Bhagwan asked some boys to go and park yourself with the guard room next to the gate 1. So some boys stayed there. And within a month, Swami he said, fix this garage. And he got an upstairs hall made for them on top of the garage. And that was the first official hostel. And then from there, he got the cars moved, and then that became 3 rooms downstairs and a big hall up. And sometimes when the students increased, he even moved them to Kaka Saab's place. And there then afterwards, when he got the shed made for them, which was near the mandir, that shed was supposed to be used as the college. And later on, when the number of boys increased, the college was shifted to different shed, and that shed also turned into a hostel for boys. So that is how 1969-70, the whole Vrindavan campus was growing slowly and slowly. So Bhagwan was literally there. Boys used to spend most of the time with Swami, eating with him. Almost only for sleeping purposes they may come. And some students were even allowed to sleep in and around mandir, and they were called room boys. And wherever they stood, that was name given to them. So some boys who were at the staircase, they were called staircase boys. Some were balcony boys. One who took care of cows, they were called cow boys. So like that, this whole thing organically grew. So today we have a privilege to hear some of those people who have had this privilege of seeing that era in person. So may I start with Brother Kote?
Yes, please.
Since you had the privilege of being Swami's room boy also, so if you can share us that era of Bhagwan and give us a glimpse into his daily routine, Brother Kote.